Do you really need an inspection when buying a home in New York City? What is up, everyone? My name is Sargis, a licensed real estate agent based here in New York City. In order to answer the question whether or not you need an inspection when buying a home in New York City, first we need to know what type of home you're buying. As a homeowner, your responsibilities are different depending on the type of the property you own. To start with, if you're buying a townhouse or a detached home that sits on its own property lot, you will be responsible for everything, which includes all the big ticket items such as the roof, facade, foundation, plumbing, and so on. When buying a house, the inspection is very important since in this case, no one will share the cost with you. The goal of the inspection is first of all to uncover any hidden problems that can be a potential deal breaker for you. Also, for you to have a good understanding on what kind of repairs are needed right now and what other major repairs to expect in the future. When you're doing a general inspection, a professional inspector will provide you a detailed written report on the systems, appliances, and the structural components of the building. They know what exactly to look for. And a lot of times, depending on the area and the property you're looking to buy, besides a general inspection, you might need to do one or more special types of inspections as well. For example, if your inspector sees a major red flag in one of the components, it can be a chimney, HVAC system, foundation, plumbing. They typically recommend you to hire a specialist in that area to quote you for the repair or replacement cost. So for houses, the inspection is a very important part of your transaction. Things are a little different if you're buying a condo or a co-op. If you want to know all the details about condo and a co-op ownership structures, I will put the links of those videos in the description below. For co-ops, the corporation is responsible for all the structural elements of the building, including the foundation, roof, elevators, plumbing, electric, and so on. All the shareholders share the costs of those components. The same is for condos. The condo association is responsible for all major structural elements. The important thing to consider here is how the building operates. There are basically two ways that the buildings can operate. Large buildings most of the time have a professional management company. If it's a small building, usually 10 or less units, in order to keep the maintenance or the common charges low for the owners, those buildings are self-managed, which means that all the day-to-day operations and the routine maintenance of the building is handled by the owners or maybe a part-time property manager. So if you're buying in a large condo or a co-op building, your inspection is limited. The management has no obligation to provide an access, and most of them don't allow any inspection in the building's common areas or structural components. But with self-managed buildings, the inspectors usually have access to those areas as well. But you're almost always allowed to inspect the unit itself, depending on the terms of your original offer being accepted. And most of the time, there is always something that the inspection will discover. There can be an issue with appliances, damaged floors, cracked tiles. If the apartment is a top floor apartment, there can be a potential issue of leaking, or if the apartment has a basement access, there can be a flooding, draining, or moisture issues. Generally, it's always good to do an inspection because this is your best opportunity to learn about what you're buying. The inspector will provide you a lot of valuable information about the property. However, this step also depends on the current market. When you're in a seller's market, most of the time buyers choose to waive the inspection when buying a condo or a co-op. Because first of all, if you're in a seller's market, you're probably competing with multiple buyers, multiple offers, and even if your inspector discovers some issues inside the apartment, most likely you won't be able to negotiate the price, unless it's something serious that you just decide to walk away from the deal. If you're in a buyer's market, you have way more leverage, and most of the time you're able to get a credit for issues discovered by the inspection or have the seller fix those issues before closing. Which one is better for you depends on your specific situation and the particular issue that was discovered. Your agent and attorney should be able to direct the negotiations in the right way. And right now, since we're in a seller's market, it is common to see buyers waiving the inspection when buying a condo or a co-op apartment in order for their offer to be competitive and more appealing to the seller. In general, if you decide to waive the inspection, your risks are higher when you're buying in a small self-managed building, since those buildings are maintained by the owners as opposed to having a professional management company with a dedicated managing agent. And if those expensive items haven't been maintained for a long time, you might get hit with a large assessment bill right after you complete the purchase. Your decision doing an inspection or waiving the inspection should be a combination of multiple factors. What type of building you're buying in, what's the current condition of the apartment, how well the apartment was maintained, and so on. The point of inspection is not for the seller to deliver you a brand new house or an apartment. Remember, the goal is to uncover any hidden problems or red flags that can be a potential deal breaker for you, as well as for you to know what are the things that need a repair right now and what other major repairs to expect in the future. So the risks of waiving the inspection are the highest if you're buying a townhouse or a detached house, and you should never skip this step. And the lowest risk is if you're buying a condo or a co-op in a large building that has a professional management company. But there is always a risk factor, so the best thing you can do is to talk to your agent and make sure you fully understand the costs and the risks associated with you buying that particular apartment. Hopefully they have enough experience to guide you and help you to make a right decision. If this video was helpful, just by clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel will be a huge favor. Thanks for watching. Until next time.